Okay. All right. Happy New Year, guys. It's 10:30 p.m. here, Friday, December 31st. I'm gonna try and work into the new year. I'm deciding whether I'm gonna have a separate video where I actually have a toast of wine, but no matter. I'm in for the earth signs. Okay, the first one was a doozy. We went through air already here, and it's crazy. Okay, here we go. Just give me a minute. There, that would be better, wouldn't it? To clear up my desktop. Okay. So here we go. We're into the one. Again, I don't turn these over. I'm going to go in order here. Okay. These are all your cards. Oh, in a weird mood. Okay. Earth. Alrighty. Here we go. Just get grounding myself out for Earth. Okay. I'll pull these back here. Trust that I'm going to take them one at a time. Okay. Start out with the Gaia deck here. And see what's shaking. Okay. This is spiritual energies, by the way. We may have some earth signs in healing here. Yeah, patiently. They're going patiently healing. Again, you know, the essence of the first air reading was very much to a degree that, you know, we're kind of forced into a position to do something. And I feel like for the earth signs, it's healing at this time, which is good. Okay, the next card is the crone. Okay, I'll turn my radio off. The crone, she can be about magical things, right? She's in the darkness, there's light. I feel like really what I'm getting a sense of here is that the earth signs may be going into what do you call that? The darkness in order to heal. The dark side of themselves, really. But I feel like, yeah, they're showing me like a handshake with the darkness of who all these earth signs are. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, this would apply to you. Yeah, like getting to know the darker side of ourselves, period. That's what I'm getting here. Not only that, to transform it. Because if we make friends with it, it's easier to deal with. But if we put it in a corner and we close the door, we can't figure nothing out. So this is kind of the sense they're giving me here. The next card. The Eight of Earth. Give me moments. Eight of Earth. She's kind of sitting there with her wand, and this is very much the earth element. I mean, it's all scattered in this deck. There's nothing but earth, right? But for the most part, this is the earth element to the highest degree. Give me a moment. Kind of sitting in that contentment. But it's interesting to me. They're showing me, yeah, again, there's like red eyes here, but there's eyes of grace here, right? I'm using that grace word a lot. So it's like somehow, some way, we're going to remove all that is devilish that we've dealt within ourselves. This is a very weird, hard to express the energy, because it's like they're showing me that stick kind of being a part of ourselves that has been doing bad or has listened to the bad on the shoulder, right? The wrong side of things. They're now taking it out and looking at it and going, okay, listen here, right? Kind of like now we're in control where maybe before we weren't. And there was something needed here, some kind of a shift was needed in order to see that. Because the sense that I'm getting here is that for once we are now seeing without a mask. Like I feel like that mask goes on her face. I feel like she's removed it for maybe the first time in their life. So how do you word that? But to those going through it, I think it will make sense, because the sense they're giving me is like we're maybe removing an evil mask that we've worn for too long. Or maybe people in our lives that we've hung with. Because sometimes that can relay a mask, because you have people in your life that you're not true to. So therefore you mask up to them. So if you get my drift. So when you remove your mask, then suddenly you don't have to pretend anymore, because because you're just being a true authentic self, and if you don't like it, then away with you, kind of thing. This is what I'm getting. But at the same time, I get sort of an affectionate feeling for this part of ourselves, like it's almost like we're removing a negative part of ourselves and having like some remorse for it being gone, because it served us, or did it, right? That may be what we're trying to figure out here, is how did it serve us? Maybe it didn't at all, and that's what we're healing from. Maybe we've had towers fall after tower after tower because we listened to the devil on our shoulder instead of, and now we're taking the reins and gonna go, wait a minute, I want to create my life the way I want to create it, not the way this thing keeps getting me into trouble. Kind of like that, if that makes any sense. Carrying on. Okay, so on the healing, again, I feel like we've had a lot of tragedy, or I don't want to say tragedy, but tragic things that have come upon us that we've had to deal with here. They're saying a cluster of things that have happened that we just cannot avoid having to stop and deal with things. What do they call the dark night of the soul, right? I don't like using that word, but it's really what I think most people talk about in that way. It's the shadow side of the self is coming up to be seen, and we're going to decide what we're going to do with it. Because there's a certain part of us that knows it's got to go, but it's like there's a certain part of us that wants to hang on to it because it felt like we're not quite in the mode to let it go, because we felt like it served us in some way. And the healing is here because we're realizing that it really didn't. And that's kind of the balance we're on. Like we're teeter-tottering here, trying to go on to the good side, but the dark side is kind of tempting us a little too much, is really, if I can simplify it. Now, on top of the healing, we get 42 confidence. Yeah, this healing energy that we've had here is creating a sense of wellness in us that is flourishing. It's healthy. It's, it's confidence. But the healing only came because of all of these this cluster of things falling. Like they're showing me tower after tower after tower. So that's usually when you think things are going to go a certain way and they don't. And things that are shocking, it didn't plan it that way. It wasn't supposed to go that way. These are things to make you realize, your life needs to change in some kind of way. Okay. I'll leave it at that. I feel like as we heal, we will gain more confidence, Okay. On top of the crone. And I feel very much like the magician. Oh, I'm going to take charge of my life right now, but they never knew that they were out of charge. They always thought they were in control, but in fact they were out of control. But they're just starting to get an inkling that might be a case. I don't even think they've accepted it yet. I just think it's an idea coming in their head going, tick, 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 like, sorry, but before you had no control of your life. You thought you did, but you didn't. This kind of thing. And I feel like that's the center of the reading, so this gives hope for the fact that now we're going to take the reins and we're really going to gain control. And that may be a lot different than what we thought of in the past. And it will be a lot different as we go in the future. So again, the crone, denial. Again, I feel like that denial card comes up with the fact that we we thought we had control of everything as it sat, and the more that we try to gain control, the more we lost it, and we're going like, what the hell's going on? Like, I thought I had things cased, and this is what's been going on, is the universe trying to show you a different way. But again, earth signs are going to be the very last people to take their instinct into account. Not that they can't be instinctive, but when it comes to the spirituality, I feel like that's the last frontier, right? That's the last place they're gonna, and the gut instinct in the earth signs are really something that they're going to be in denial of. So some of yous, will have this, depending on all the other elements in your chart, some to a higher degree than others. Now, again, dealing with this self and the shadow part of us, we have the honesty to cover that over, which is good, because that means that we're getting honest with ourselves about what we're dealing with here. Like, were we truly being good, or were we not? Like, was it for our highest good, or was it not? This is what they're kind of showing me, because that's the removal. Like, to see that it can be separated is kind of what they're showing me. And you never go wrong with honesty. You just can't go wrong with it. Even if it gets you into trouble, it's good trouble because you were honest. That's the only way to get what you want, is to be honest with what's going on here. Now we have denial right down the center. So here we go. Healing. Again, I feel like a lot of these earth signs are in the process of, again, different time zones and different timelines, right? We could be in the process of realizing this, or healed from this somewhat, or right in the middle of it. Now, on top of the confidence card, we get the sun. Wow. Okay, so this is good, because it shows that there is a birthing of a new energy, really. Kind of like the healing is the point where we resign, right? Because so much has gone wrong. It's like we have no other choice but to sit and deal with things. And it's highly aspected that we do, and it's highly aspected that we gain from this, because the sun is all about good things in the future. And not only that, this card can denote pregnancies as well, so that's things to mention. Fertility, new life literally being birthed around you in some way, shape, or form. So we may have people, relatives, you yourself having issues. Not issues, but me being pregnant. Not at all. Now on the crone, again, the magician wanting to take control of your life in a new form, in a new way, where we truly see how we're getting ourselves into trouble, kind of thing. There's a sense there's denial here, but on top of that we have the Temperance, talking about right place, right time. She's pouring a rainbow out of her vase there into, like, I don't know, I like to think that's like a little, I don't know what that is, but it's all good stuff. It's good. Sun and Temperance. Okay, so just give me a minute here. Yeah, they're going, the denial is of the past, and as we start to heal, that moves away from us more and more. But the sense, because I'm going, why is it in the middle? And they're going, the sense here is that because the denial is high, right? And it will stay there until we completely, hit a crux point where it delivers itself away, because we really haven't found our power just yet. We're striving for it. We kind of don't understand where or how to get it, but we were under an illusion as to having it in the past. When all these things came down, boom, 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 we thought we had control and power and, to make these decisions, but it truly wasn't the way that it was, and that's all part of the flow here of realizing. So this here above card set really puts a focus on, they're going to shove you into a position here where you are in the right place at the right time to learn exactly what you need to learn in order to move forward. people, situations, you yourself being put in a place where this is going to happen. So a little bit of fate or karma, no, fate and destiny. That's the word I was looking for. A little bit of destiny coming in the middle here to help you harmonize with things. Now, as we move into this energy here, I feel like it's a removal, literally a removal of the mask, but we're not letting go of it. We still have a strong hold of it. And we may even put it on for some people. But again, are these people that are meant to be in our lives because we're putting a mask on, this kind of thing? Are we not who, that whole thing? There is, self-healing and self-confidence here. So I get a sense that we'll get through that. Honesty. This is part of the healing process, is one, to be honest with ourselves, and two, it's harder for them to go outward, to be honest with others, is the sense. I feel like these earth signs are having a harder time going outward to others and saying, I don't, putting maybe boundaries, but I feel like it's, maybe we've put up with riffraff for too long and we just don't know how to lay boundary to it because we just have put up with it for so long. We feel like we shouldn't, in a way, this kind of thing. So on top of that, we get the Five of Water. Speaks to emotionally charged drama, so that'd be like chaos as well. Give me a minute, I gotta look at all three here. Yeah, because we're removing our mask here, right? And part of that, and again, we have our eye. If you look at this, you gotta look at this, okay? You see her third eye is open. I don't know if you can see that. You can't really tell. And here, there's no real third eye. In this mask, there's no third eye. And they were guiding me to tell you guys, like when you are in negative energy, you do not get any foresight. And was it the earth signs? I was picking up, I don't know what reading it was, but I was picking up, I think it was a masculine and feminine. I was picking up that people were picking up on their intuitive abilities to a higher degree. Yeah, there's a little thing up there, but it is not anywhere near an eye. Almost looks like a flower, but anyway, I needed to note that because they're pointing that out to me quite highly, that she's got an eye here that's wide open, and that mask is not supplied with that same eye. There's a little bit of a flower bud here, but it's closed off, like there's no. So anyway, there's that. So that may be helping us heal. It may be helping us pinpoint exactly where we're deficient. Again, the honesty going outward, I feel like it's painful. We need to tell people our truth, but we don't want to hurt people with the truth, so this is going to be a problem. But there's also people too that we may be charged up with so much honesty that we're just going to kind of shove it in their face because they deserve it, kind of thing. So there's a mix of all of this going on. Yeah, we've got a bit of a mix of people around us that they're all going to get a bout of honesty. Some for being our friend and backing us, some for not being our friend and not backing us, and some for just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, really. Give me a minute here. Yeah, like there's like this right place, right time is going to bring some people toward us where we're going to have an opportunity to be quite honest and truthful in order to, as part of the plan here. Just give me a minute. There's a fated event coming here, and it's going to have to do with communication and relationships, and it's going to solidify certain things and close doors in certain other areas. And this is all destined to happen in a certain way, but it might be quite chaotic as it's going on, because I feel like there's a lot of things going on for these earth signs, or a lot of people around them that got opinions, or just a lot of people that maybe they just don't get along with, but they haven't had the guts to tell them this kind of thing. But they're finally getting a vague sense of who they are, so they're starting to filter that out. Okay, man. Let's go. Oh, on top of the sun, earth signs, we have icosahedron, talking about the number 20, transformation, and water. So like water, we are going to blend into our confidence, right? As we heal, we're going to slowly blend and gain more confidence, and we're going to transform ourselves into who and what we want to be. Because again, there was a false sense of power I think we thought we had in the past. By doing things a certain way, we have now realized that everywhere we go, we cannot do it this way. We cannot. So we have to transform in order to, but again, we just may not have had a good sense of self during this time. May have been, denying that part of ourselves for so long that we just didn't think we needed. Didn't think we needed to know. We had so many people around us. I feel like we still do have a lot of people around us that can make decisions for us. And we didn't know that us not making the decisions ourselves was detrimental to our own path, but now we're realizing this. Okay, so on top of the temperance, again, the universe is going to fate you and put you in the right place at the right time for you to grow here. Wow, we get aquamarine, about trust, purity, and tranquility will come from this, they said. So whatever is fated, it may be a bit of a blowout, like we may have a big emotional let go on people, situation, something, but it's ultimately going to create the peace that we want. It's kind of like maybe some of the earth signs here have been, it's building, it's building, it's building, it's building, and then we're going to blow. And, we could have done it at an earlier time, maybe when we were a lot more calm and whatnot. But we just kept avoiding, again, not wanting to hurt people with our honesty, but at the same time, this needs to be talked about. It gets to a boiling point and we just blow. And then because of that, it's weird. How do you express? It's like an error, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have gone out. I should not have. But at the same time, it's like, no, you know what? They needed to hear it. They needed to know this because I need a break or whatever it was. It's almost like that. It's like the earth signs are going, oh, I shouldn't have done this. And the universe is going, we should have done this a long time ago when our head was cool. We've just let it go for so long, da da da. So on top of that, we get water again. I'm talking about alchemy and intuition. Okay, so they're wanting you to be like water. Go with flow. Again, we're stuffing a lot here, I feel. Intuitively, spiritually, these earth signs were stuffing a lot of things, not talking to the people they should have been laying boundary to, and either we laid boundaries we didn't follow up on, or we just didn't lay boundaries at all, and it created a scenario where things advanced. And it may have been that we were busied up with something else, because again, I feel like there's all areas we're surrounded. And because we were busied, it's like, I don't have time, but nobody around us knew that we didn't have time. They weren't using their logic outside of us. And I think that honesty is going to come as a shock, but again, needs to be said in order for us to truly realize who it is that we are and what we want to fight for, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay, well, not straightforward. It's all deep and complex, these readings. But the planet energy that you get. Moon in Gemini, 15, indecision. Should I stay or should I go? Okay. Here we go. So, Moon is about emotions. Gemini is about two ways. Look at all the directions, right? There's one going this way and three going that way. So the moon in Gemini would be your emotional center going off in all directions. And part of that is the healing that we need to do. Like, again, we need to feel the healing to build the confidence. But you have to be healed in order to get the confidence, in order to get the enjoyable life, and then transform into that. That's all, the path that this moon, this emotional center, once you get out of this indecision. I feel like there's something fated here to push you into that. I feel like we're going to push into a decision here because something's going to blow, and it may be us blowing on somebody else, and then the reaction is illuminating to us. We may have a surprise reaction from somebody, like we may have a reaction that we thought they were on our side, but then suddenly they flip to another side, or we may have a lack of reaction, and then that shocks us. I don't know. There's something here about a blowout or a discussion that goes awry, but it's going to go awry in a way that is fated to show us where we truly need to be. Because I feel like even though we're in healing, and again, different people will be in different stages here, there's something... Is it one person we're trying to get away from or not deal with? And then suddenly they come around and we just, it's like the last straw. But no less, there's a lot of water here on this side when we're dealing with our honesty and whatnot. So we really have to, from an emotional center, be honest with ourselves and others around us in order to get our life straightened out. Because they're showing me this like a rope that's going in all directions, and that's us in our emotional state. We can't make up, and they're going like this. We got to straighten it out and walk the line and go where we want to go. And again, a lot of these are complicated, emotionally complicated, like it's crazy. 1101, by the way. I just happened to look over. So tapping into your intuition again, are these earth signs can do that? No. We have some influence here in the emotional center from air. But again, we're in logic and thought forms, not our heart. But we're getting closer, right? Closer than we were. Pretending to be... See, that's the thing. This may have been... We just kind of molded into what others wanted us to be, and now we're trying to figure out who we are so we can go more thoughtfully and honestly as a human in the way that, it's going to create some chaos along, some waves here, some white caps. But if you're going with your intuition and you're speaking your truth, you will weasel your way through this with no problem. The moon is in Gemini. You're confused in your emotional center, but we're in the process of healing. Keep going down that road. You'll gain confidence, and the sun is shining on all of that, so you'll make headway. So that is for the earth signs. We ended up with Gemini. See, we had the air signs that ended up in a Virgo moon. Now we got the earth signs. In air energy, so that's interesting. So that is that. It looks like I'm going to be hitting up with fire signs over midnight, because fire's next. So give me a moment to shuffle up.